What life lesson have you learned the hard way? Let the hair on your butt cheeks be. I have recently made one of the biggest mistakes in my life. I offer my story to you, so that you may learn from my errors. It all started, as many things do, with me having trouble going number 2. No, I was not constipated. This was not a regularity problem but a matter of technique. It seems my booty hair had grown to such a length that tiny balls of excrement were constantly getting tied up in the matted jungle between my booty cheeks. It led to much frustration. I always knew that I still had something to drop, but was unable to shake the tenacious turd loose from its butt hair dwelling place. Eventually I would have to do one of two things. Option 1 was to reach down with some paper and try to pinch off the lingering loaf. This required careful precision to avoid smearing the creature all over my rear, especially since I had no way of seeing what I was doing. Option 2 was to go for broke, start wiping, and hope that I could remove all the leftover fecal matter before the toilet paper reached its can't be flushed threshold. As I was contemplating this problem, I had what seemed at the time to be a brilliant idea. Hey, this is my butt and my butt hair, right? So why don't I just eliminate all the hair altogether, and then everything will flow out like beer from a keg, I said to myself. It is a statement that will go down in history with a lot of other regretted statements. Things like how many Indians could there be? Said by General Custer. Looks like a good day for a drive. By JFK or there. America Online now has complete Usenet access. By some idiot system tech. Such was my booty shaving idea. I performed the operation that night, with a cheap disposable razor and a towel to sit on. Starting from the bottom, and shaving from the crack to the cheeks, I began the arduous process of ridding my buttocks of hair. Occasionally, I would have to clean the razor of accumulated hair and miscellaneous slime, which I did by wiping it on the towel. Slowly, my twin mounds in the between ravine began to resemble the hairless cheeks of a newborn baby. Finally, I wiped the razor one last time, and surveyed my work. The towel was covered with a pile of hair. My buttocks were smooth as ivory. I smiled, satisfied, thinking my troubles were over. Little did I know. I now have a great respect for booty hair. Like everything in this world God created, it has its mighty purpose in existence. It was only after I had removed it that I started to learn how much I had been taking it for granted. For one, it provides friction. I learned this the next day, when I walked out into the sun heading for class. After climbing 2 flights of stairs and starting to sweat, I started to notice something unpleasant. The sweat was accumulating in my crack, and was causing the unpleasant sensation of my 2 butt cheeks sliding past each other with every step. I thought about going to the bathroom and wiping it off, but had to get to class. Eventually, I thought it would dry. Unfortunately, it did dry, but only after mingling with the microscopic excrement molecules lingering around my brown starfish. When I stood up after class, my cheeks were stuck together with a slimy sticky excrement and sweat combination. As I made my way back to my dorm, it started to itch. And I mean it itch. Felt like a swarm of ants was making its way up and down my crack. Fighting to keep from jamming my hand down there and scratching away, I rushed back to the dorm. Unfortunately again, this exertion caused me to sweat, and when I finally reached my room, my cheeks were sliding back and forth against each other like a pair of hormonal cane toads. I quickly dropped my pants, and attempted to dry my butt off by sticking it in front of a fan and spreading my cheeks. As I pulled the 2 mounds of flesh apart, a horrible stench burst free and filled the room. Every dog within a 4-block radius started to howl. I had it worst of all, as the ripe aroma of festering excrement and sweat went into the fan and blew back into my face. I fought to keep from heaving. It was as if mustard gas was shoved down my throat with one intent. Murder. And as I sat there, fighting vomit, my butt cheeks spread and dripping, with the concentrated aroma of my body odor mixed with the tangy smell of my own foul smell blowing right into my face, I'd only one thought. It will be like this until the hair grows back. Weeks. Later on, trying to deal as best I could, wiping my butt at every opportunity, I discovered another wonderful use for booty hair. Ventilation. I attempted to launch a fart, only to have it get stuck between my butt cheeks. Apparently, with no hair, the 2 pink twins can get vacuum sealed together, and the result was a frustrating fart that slid up and down between my cheeks like a lost gerbil. As if that wasn't enough, I am now enduring further torture. As anyone who has ever shaved anything knows, when hair is first growing back in, it comes in as stubble. Imagine your butt having the texture of a Brillo pad. Well, that's what I am dealing with now. It is a hellish torture, and there are many times when I just look out the window and contemplate why I shouldn't just jump out and get it all over within one fleshy splat. It would mean a peaceful end rather than enduring this constant agony. So I leave you with one lesson and I beg of you to heed my advice. Let the booty jungle grow wild and free or endure the wrath that comes with defying nature.